Good morning. Here we are again, getting things done. So as we just kind of continue to walk through Matthew 5, we're in 5:5. Again, this is what's known as the Sermon on the Mount that Jesus is teaching his disciples, and not just the 12, but all those that are following him. And in 5:5, Jesus says, "Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth." And I have heard multiple different ways about how to translate meek and what it really truly means. And really, I think the best way to approach that word is a humbled heart. Blessed are those who have a humble heart that know their place as sinners, if you will, and kind of like the poor in spirit. It's kind of the same kind of mentality of knowing that they are not the greatest thing to ever walk the earth. I hope this rain isn't bothering you guys too much because it's distracting me a little bit. Anyway. But yes, this idea of meek is not a weakness, it's not a passiveness necessarily, but it's this idea of an active humility and seeking God's ways, not your ways. So if you take that idea and then you look at the second part, we'll inherit the earth. Like, what in the world does that mean? Keep in mind, Jesus is talking to the Jewish people, and one of the big promises is the promised land, is the land of Canaan where they're currently living. And so you can see how maybe some of the people are like, oh, we're going to get our land back. We're going to be free from the Romans. And in a sense, I think that's what Jesus is getting at as far as the promises of the past will be fulfilled in the here and now and future. But also the idea that we'll inherit the earth is, I think Jesus is reaching back to that understanding, that history of the Jewish people, and saying, the promises that we made, Jesus being one person of the Trinity as part of that promise, these promises that were made are going to be yours. And maybe inheriting the earth isn't quite what they want it to be anymore, as we know that, again, not like I'm hesitant to say, but like, not that God's plans have changed drastically, but since the Israelite people failed to really take the land, that land is now going to go to all as an inheritance. And in a sense, it's also a spiritual promise of we're going to inherit the earth, or inherit the promises of God as Gentiles. So that's where it starts to get a little tricky. But as far as how we are to really interact with this ourselves today, if we are in a humble spirit, if we are honestly judging ourselves and being honest with who we are as followers of God, then we can step into these promises of God and, in a sense, really just reap the benefits and the rewards that God has laid out for us. Again, not that it's a prosperity type of gospel situation, but more of a, what does Paul say? I'm crucified with Christ. I no longer live, but it's Christ who lives in me. It's that mentality that I'm trying to get across. So, again, sometimes it's just a mind change. It's a different way of approaching decisions we make in life, that it's based on Christ, not on ourselves, which is so much harder to do than it sounds, especially when we want those things that we have. So look at ways you can think differently. Look at ways you can humble yourself and humble your heart and go before the Lord properly. Thanks again so much. I appreciate all you guys. Have a wonderful day. Bye.